Ravensburger just dropped some big news today on the second set of Disney's Lorcana, and we are going to dive into that news and possibly what we might see in the future. Welcome, Rebels. Today we've got a more laid-back video for you. Both Mr. Maleficent and I, the Northian, are going to be discussing what they just dropped.
So, we know for a fact that they're getting rid of the chapter name. There was a lot of speculation whether it'd be, second chapter, since the first set was the first chapter. So we now know they're getting rid of the chapter, and this one is called Rise of the Floodborne.
Now, we did know ahead of time that it was going to be Floodborne based, right?
We did know that, yes. So, personally, I really like this. It fleshes out a little bit more about what a Floodborne is. The shift characters that we've seen, specifically, like Giant Tinkerbell, they are Floodborne, and they're supposed to be, specifically from the website, it says that these are, the 6 magical inks released in a mixed-up, chaotic form, resulting in a mysterious flood which damaged the Great Illuminary. And when Storyborn or Dreamborn glimmers encounter this mixed ink, they surge with power that changes them, transforming them into Floodborn glimmers. So, these end up being, fairly powerful cards. We know it as the giant fairy Tinkerbell there is one of the top meta cards, and they really are quite powerful. Heroic Outlaw Aladdin, that one's also up there.
And there's an Aurora one as well that comes in that restarter deck.
So, yeah, so very interesting to see these. And they dropped us with 3, right out of the gate, they showed us 3 of these Floodborne cards. So, so North, why don't you start us off with your opinion on the Queen?
Let's see here. All right, the Queen, and as you kind of mentioned earlier, it seems like, if not all, most of these character ones are going to be shifting. I think the only character she can shift onto right now is the one. There's only one Queen in the Amethyst deck, right?
Amethyst deck.
All right, so we're probably going to get more Queen from Snow White in this deck for her to shift onto, because I believe that's a 3 or 4.
5 cost.
Another 5 cost.
They have to, otherwise it'd make no sense to have a shift.
So we already can kind of confirm then that there's got to be another Queen in this deck. But looking at her ability, it says whenever this character quests, chosen opposing characters get -4 strength this turn, and chosen character gets +4 strength this turn. And they can quest for 2. So that gives her a strength of 8.
Well, she can give it to anybody else. She doesn't have to take it herself. So,
oh, sure.
So that's, so basically the support skill is what she has with that.
Yeah.
But it's even better because it minuses the opponent as well.
Yeah, so you can get rid of big hitting cards. So say you put it on a character who has 4 damage or something, you don't have to waste a lot of your smaller characters. You can play her, take out that, annoying captain that just got put in, or was it like a Moana, Amber Moana that gets put in there.
You can even take out the big hitters too, like the big steel Maui that's 8/8, the Maleficent Dragon,
Mm-hmm. And you can get that in on turn 2.
Possibly, yes, if, depending on what the...
Yes, yeah.
What the other Queen is in the ink. So my opinion on this, I'll tell you right out, is, this is a decent card. This is a mid-range card in my belief. It's a super rare, so it's not going to be, constantly pulled in every pack and whatnot. Again, similar to the Giant Tinkerbell. I can see it being used, but I put it in a mid-range for me because I just, without knowing the other Queen's cost, if the other Queen ends up being, an Amber 1 cost, this is awesome. But if the other Queen is, a 2 or a 3, you're now not getting this out until almost turn 5 on its own. I mean, I'm glad it's an inkable card, but I feel like it's got to be paired with a 1 cost Queen.
I'd actually like it if it wasn't paired with a 1 cost, because I feel like for too many people in this game, it's all about you play a card that's worth the total amount of ink that you have every time. Whereas this one, it can be more so, okay, it's a full, maybe it's a 3-cost queen, but to get this one on top of it, it only costs you 2, so you could play maybe a different card. But I know the issue with playing that strategy, which gets me into trouble sometimes unless I'm playing an Amethyst deck, is you lose a lot of your cards way too quickly. So maybe this deck will kind of address that issue I have with non-Amethyst-based decks in games. But let's move on to the next card here.
So already corn on the first card. So the next card is Belle, Hidden Archer. And this is a legendary, so, very rare.
Like the artwork.
I definitely like the artwork. You got to shift 3 with this Belle, and it's an emerald card. So shift 3 right now, our current Bells, I think are like 3s and 4s, I believe.
Because there's and they're both sapphire.
Yeah. So again, I would imagine we will see another Belle, probably. This card's ability is Thorny Arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand. So why don't you start this one?
That seems kind of weak. Let's just move on. Yeah, turn 3. Just make the person discard. I don't know. That seems kind of too broken in my opinion. Especially unless they're doing what I said, this might hint at a better way to get more cards in your hand. That just seems really rough, because part of this whole game is, you need cards in your hand to ink and then be able to play. And if on turn 3 you can make somebody discard their entire hand, which you essentially would have to do because 3 lore, that's a card that you have to challenge.
This card is a card you have to deal with the second it gets out. And the fact that there is the ability for this card to go out turn 3, not only from shifting, but you got to think, we have Just in Time, the Maui card, that if you pair this with an Amber deck, it lets you drop a 5-cost card out right away.
Yeah.
With that one. So, and that would be a turn 3. So, man, the fact that you can get this out in turn 3, start questing for 3 lore, and your opponent's going to end up losing their entire hand to kill it, other than if she's a 3 willpower, so you're not hitting her with the cannons, you're not hitting her with grab your sword, giant tanks, just big explosions. Not, you gotta hit her with be prepared, smash,
fire.
Yeah, something that's not, we're talking about 5 ink cost. Those are mid-game plays. This is a really powerful card. The only downside to this card, in my opinion, is that it's not inkable.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with me for every card. If it's not inkable, it immediately drops a bunch. Because I've had way too many decks on it built where it's just like, okay, it's not inkable, so I'll still put it in, and I get a hand with 4 uninkables, and then the 2 inkables I have are cards I want to keep in play. All right, next one. We got Gaston, Intellectual Powerhouse. Something you typically don't think about, Gaston.
No, I always do personally.
Yes. He just shipped 4, and when you play this character, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put 1 in your hand, and you put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. That is interesting. So that's 3 cards. So I know there's some cards, especially in Amethyst, that let you do with 2. Like you look at 2 cards, or Develop Your Brain, which you can look at 1 card.
No, 2. You get 2 with the original Develop Your Brain because you
have one.
Yeah. I mean, this is honestly a better version of those. It adds a little bit more searchability to this game, which is powerful. Early game, we don't have very many search cards, so this is adding a little bit. This one is only a rare, so people should be able to get 4 of these, no problem.
Yeah.
3 lore is huge. He's a 4/4, so he can hit and take damage.
The one thing, if we're just looking at cards that have been released so far, I think the only Gaston we have is the Reckless one, though. So it's that Gaston, if that stays the only Gaston that we keep, he's probably going to have some damage.
Yeah. Well, again, that one's a 4 cost, so I would imagine they've got to be...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they've got to be giving us another Gaston, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I think this is another good card. Again, non-inkable though, and it's a 6 cost. So that one's a little bit more hand jammy if you get it early on.
So that's it for the 3 Floodborne cards that they showed us.
Yeah. So then they dropped down a couple more cards. One of them I'll go into right now. Of course, I love the artwork. I personally love the character from my childhood, growing up and whatnot. Is Winnie the Pooh, Honey Wizard, and disappointing. That's all there is to him. There's no abilities. There's nothing. He's a 2 lore, so that's nice. 5 cost inkable. Nice that he's inkable. Stinks that he's a little bit mid, but he's a 5/5, which so he can hit. He can hit and take damage. He's definitely a card I think. I like to run a lot of Amethyst. He's a card that I think I will put in my deck. 1, the art is gorgeous, nostalgia, and 2, he's not bad, and you can always just throw him in the inkwell if you get him early.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it's like one card I have 1 or 2. It's like my captains in my Ruby deck I have, where it's just like he hits really hard, which I like. That's all he, kind of does. But it's nice to have an option, especially if you need to get the damage out there. And this seems very versatile because he can hit hard, defend hard, and 2 lore, depending on the game, that might cause somebody to want to target him maybe over somebody else.
Absolutely.
So the second one is celebrating Princess Tiana, and not only do we get a good look at just another Dreamborn character, but a new ability that is coming with this set, which is called Resist. Now, for those of you who are board game enthusiasts like me, you probably recognize this. Kind of acts like a shield, where they just get to absorb some of the damage. So Resist +2 means damage dealt to this character is reduced by 2. So that means that's anything, not just challenges.
That's the crazy thing to me with this, is that resist is any damage. So, a resist 2, you can't fire the cannons at her. No damage will be done. So
I kind of like that for an ability, because I know it's way too easy sometimes where you get a good character out and then somebody just plays like a smash or fire the cannons, and it's just like, well, that sucked. I didn't even get to do anything. And they're just, there's no way for me to protect this character. Because I know I generally don't play this way myself, but I see a lot of people where, they just won't quest with characters or do something with the character because they just want to keep them safe. I'm usually very risky, and I'll either attack or quest to get the points regardless. But this is nice because then it's like, for people who play like that, they can be a little bit more confident in questing with this character because they know that, they won't just get targeted.
And that's all this character is, in all honesty. This character is a quest character. 2 lore, the second part of her abilities is what you give is what you get. While this character is exerted and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. So, songs are actions. So that not only does it stop her from being hit by fire the cannons and stuff, but if she's exerted, if you quest with her and, get your 2 lore, then nobody can play, fire the cannons, be prepared. They can't play be prepared and board wipe you even. So she's actually not to play on the term bodyguard, but she's actually really a bodyguard.
Well, here's the nice thing as well that I've noticed with her, and then the next card we'll get into as well, but they both have resist, but they're also both super rares. So resist, I don't think it's going to be as broken because I don't think you're going to see as much of them. Like maybe some rares you'll get resist +1, maybe very unique, but it does seem like this card just without the resist would be like uncommon, I feel like. But with that resist, it bumped it all the way up to super rare. So that's definitely something to keep in mind too when it comes to how broken it may or may not be.
Right. And so the last card that they showed off is another Floodborne card indeed. And it's another steel, which me and you talked about being a little bit weird that they didn't show off a ruby card, and they showed off 2 steel cards, the Tiana and this one here. Stout-hearted Cinderella. Big cost, 7, but she is inkable, positive. Also a 5/5, so she hits hard and can take damage. And not only can she take damage, but like we just said, she does have the resist +2 on there, which makes her really hard to kill. She's a shift 5, which also makes sense because we do have multiple Cinderellas and their costs are 3, 4, ship 5, get her out turn 5, just like Heroic Outlaw Aladdin. And, you know, her other ability is the Singing Sword. Whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn. That's big. Because that gives her rush, if you read that, essentially, for that one turn. If you've got her played out and then you play a song, you can challenge ready characters this turn.
But it's also very useful for even if when she is ready herself, somebody's trying to protect a character.
Absolutely.
You play a song and they're no longer protected. Alrighty, next, let's take a look at the 6 movie franchises that they said that they were adding to this game, who were not in the previous one, or at least the movie franchises weren't.
Yep, not in the first chapter, these 6. We'll start with Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
That's actually not true. The Evil Queen is in set 1.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Why are they? Yeah, that's a typo right there on the part, I guess.
I just realized, I was like, because we were just talking about how, the Evil Queen has somebody she can shift into.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, so that's a mishap on their part. This is right off their website. So
yeah, like there's nobody else, but and there's and in fact it's not just the queen, but there's the magic mirror.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think there's isn't there a poisoned apple?
There is a poisoned apple as well.
So yeah,
there you go. Well,
so pretending those don't exist, let's.
I guess the more point is, I think with that, probably why they're thinking about it is you don't have any of the dwarfs or Snow White.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously Snow White aside, I'm sure everybody wants Snow White. She's one of the OG princesses.
Yeah.
Which dwarf would you be most excited to see?
Dopey. I want Dopey.
Mine.
I want Heroic Knight Dopey. Floodborn Heroic Knight Dopey.
Mine's Grumpy, but I want him to be happy. No. No, but honestly, I do want a Grumpy card. I really like Grumpy. But
I don't think we'll get a card for every single dwarf, but I think there might be a card that has all the dwarfs on it, like mining the off to work we go or something like that, like maybe a song.
I agree.
Pinocchio. Now I'm trying to think. Is there any cards from this one?
No, there's definitely not from Pinocchio. We don't have Jiminy Cricket. We don't have Pinocchio. We don't have Geppetto or Figaro or Cleo or Blue Fairy or Monstro or Stromboli.
Yeah, all those characters I definitely know.
No, but in all honesty, I'd love to see a Floodborne Monstro.
Yeah, I'm sure swallowing, that might be you know what I'm thinking as well. Maybe a card that ignores resist or something.
That would be cool.
Like swallow, or I guess maybe swallow would be a banishing thing, just kind of like Dragon's Flame.
Yeah.
Or Dragon's Breath. They might have swallow. That'd be interesting to see. But yeah, something Monstro related is kind of what I'd like. One I did not expect. Zootopia.
Yeah.
Of all the Disney movies, I remember it was big when it came out, and then nobody talks about it anymore.
The card I most want from Zootopia would be, obviously just Judy Hopps. I think
Or Nick.
Yeah, Nick's cool, but I think Judy Hopps is, we don't have, beyond princesses, we don't really have any female characters in the game that are not a princess. And I think or a bad queen. Let's put it that way. So I think Judy Hopps would be a cool character to throw in, that would just kind of add a different element to the game of fan base wise. This next one I was actually really excited to see, The Great Mouse Detective.
Want to know something? I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Really?
But I've seen the last act through video clips and people talking about it so much that I feel like I've watched the end of this one. I couldn't tell you anything before the first part, about anything in the movie besides that final act. But I feel like I can run the entire final act through my brain.
Yeah, Ratigan. That's honestly all I'm thinking about with Great Mouse Detective is Ratigan has to be coming to the game. Ravensburg does villainous. Ratigan's a villain in villainous.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be Ratigan coming.
Yeah, and maybe his song.
Right.
Because I know that's what I've seen a lot of as well, is his song he sings.
Yep.
The movie I definitely have seen a lot is The Jungle Book. Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff. Bare necessities is 100% gonna be a bard. I'm so confident. I don't know what I'd give up in return, but
What about I want to be like you, and then maybe it lets you draw your hand size up to your opponent's hand size or something like that.
or you steal one of your opponent's cards.
No,
I know, yeah,
anything like that.
you never like that. I'd be like you. I don't know. That'd be interesting to see what they do with that one. But bare necessities, I could definitely see where it's just like you don't look at like the top 4 cards and pull something based off of this, something they consider like a necessity, like a shift card or something. I don't know.
Here's my question on this: do you think we're actually going to get Mowgli, or do you think we will only get like Baloo,
I think
King Louie?
I think we'll get
Bagheera.
Mowgli, but like a different version of him.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a grew up, like like what if he grew up with the tigers instead, so he has like, or grew up with the man instead, something, but like a hunter Mowgli, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
This one I'm going to let you take away because I have never seen Raya and the Last Dragon.
So funny you say that. I've seen the first 25-30 minutes of this movie, and I like something happened. My niece and nephew were watching it, and then we just stopped watching it. I never even got to the dragon part because I know the movie begins with like before like the kingdom collapses or this crystal is stolen or something. As soon as that happens and there's the time jump, I've never seen anything post time jump in that movie. So I don't actually know anything about the dragon or the characters in this movie.
The dragon's name is Sisu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly since I haven't watched it. But they did have in some previous teaser language that Sisu was coming, and obviously the entire news notes starts with a picture of Raya. So good bet that we're probably getting at least Raya and Sisu.
Yeah, outside of that, I'm not really excited. Like that movie itself, I'm surprised they have that there because the movie, I don't know, I didn't think it was that interesting, and not that it was bad, but it just wasn't great either.
So moving into the merchandise that they've already shown off, obviously booster boxes and booster packs, they're staples of TCG. We have 2 new starter decks coming for this. One of them is Amber Sapphire, and on the front it's got the Evil Queen and Gaston, the 2 cards that we already discussed previously. So you will guaranteed get foils of those in the starter deck. So I think that's good. We talked about both those cards being viable cards. And then the other starter deck is Amethyst Steel, which I'm passionate about. That's the current colors I'm running right now is Amethyst Steel deck. And you've got the Tiana that we already talked about, and then you got a Merlin. That's clearly the Amethyst because Tiana was Steel. So it'll be interesting to see what that Merlin is because we already have Amethyst Merlins. So, and this doesn't look like a Floodborn or Dreamborn. He looks on the cover of the box. He looks.
Wait, do we face Merlin? Because I think I can see the Sapphire ones.
Oh, you know what? It's a song, isn't it?
It's this. It's Befuddle. And then Archimedes.
Yep.
Are in Amethyst.
So yeah, so we're getting an Amethyst Merlin. But he definitely looks like he's probably a Storyborn. He doesn't seem to have anything special going on him.
Yeah, another thing I thought I'd just quickly mention is looking at the booster boxes. Queen of Hearts and a different kind of beast are coming. That's what it looks like.
Right, which we have an idea of that beast segueing into the new playmats that are coming. It looks almost like a stone gargoyle beast. Really cool looking playmat. And then the Winnie the Pooh that we talked about, the honey sorcerer, honey wizard.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna buy that mat. I love that mat. Look. And then they have Mulan in her full fighter gear.
That might be the card backs I go for. I wasn't a huge fan. Not that I hated them, but I was just like, when I was looking at card backs, I was like, no, the art they had interested me at all. I'm a big Mulan fan, and that art piece looks sick.
Yep.
So I would go for it. And then, like I mentioned before, Seasick.
Yep.
The dragon from that. It's a card back.
And then in place of a gift set this time, they've got the Disney 100th edition anniversary collector's set.
Did they say it was going to be in place of the gift set?
Yeah, well, like, that's the gift set for this set, is what they...
Because they have, like, no giant cards.
Right. Well, because the whole thing's a collector's set.
And actually, it's releasing later as well. It doesn't release till... it says that...
December 1st, right.
Yeah, it says that...
Well, no, it's... Yes, yep. And then that will release on December. But the 6 cards that you get in it, the special art rares, that'll only be found in this set. Can't pull them from boosters. This is the only place you'll get them. There's 6 cards that we had in first chapter, just with new art. You've got 1 from each.
Wait, are you sure?
Thanks. Yep.
That Mickey Mouse friendly face. I'm pretty sure that's not from set 1.
Mickey Mouse.
6 cost Mickey Mouse?
True. I don't know where that Mickey Mouse comes from. I'm glad you're here. Whenever this character quests, you pay 3.
In Amber? That's definitely not.
Yeah.
That must be a new Floodborne character. The rest of them are definitely.
No, it's a story book.
Set 1. Or sorry, I meant Rise of the Floodborne set character.
But yeah, then the Stitch Abomination is definitely set 1. Maleficent Uninvited is definitely set 1. The Elsa Gloves Off is definitely set 1. The Genie Powers Unleashed is definitely set 1. And the Maui Demigod.
Is that Elsa 1?
Yep.
Gloves Off? Because the Challenger? I don't remember the Elsa being a Challenger.
There's 3 Elsas that are Amethyst in the first set.
Yeah.
This is the middle one.
The middle one? Okay,
Yep.
the one I know.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so I guess the Mickey Mouse 1 attack, 6 defense. 6.
Oh, no, okay. So when you look at the specific cards, that Elsa one is not. It's set 2. It says on the bottom there,
Okay.
-2. The rest of them say -1. Oh, wait, yeah. So yeah, the Mickey Mouse
And
friendly face and the Elsa Gloves Off are from Floodborne.
completely new
Rise of
cards.
Floodborne.
So overall, very excited for this set to be coming November 17th. We definitely plan on getting plenty of content out for you on it. We're gonna have videos coming out leading up to it with more hypothesis, more leaks. We'll be bringing more videos to you as more things leak, as we find out more cards, and then on top of that, we will have product that we will open, some of it on camera, and go through the entire set once it's in our hands.
Yeah, and hopefully maybe if they show some stuff off at Comic-Con this year, New York Comic-Con,
Right, you're going.
I will be there. They brought stuff to Gen Con, so who knows, I could even get product super early like the Gen Con goers. We'll see.
That'd be very nice.
Yes. But that will be it from us today. What do you think is going to be coming? Down in the comments below, put predictions for what cards you think might be coming or will be coming, or characters, anything at all. Put it all down there. We'll take a look at it. Maybe help us inform and go through some of those next time we talk about this. But until then, we're going to sign out here. So
Keep questing.
peace.